What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. The Henry Cavill Warhammer project is just destined not to happen. Unfortunately, it's looking like Henry is in fact going to get screwed over yet again. Just a refresh, of course. Henry Cavill, whether on his own or not, is of course attached to do this Amazon show with Games Workshop. This was the entire female custody saga where Amazon wanted females in power armor and they couldn't swing Space Marines, and Games Workshop basically told them as much. And so they changed it to there being female custodies so that we could say in the lore it existed, blah, blah, blah. And well, it's looking like it's not going to happen. And of course, they are going to let it wither and die on the vine.
I'm shocked.
So the last time we heard about it was from the annual report, basically, and this was Archcast who came out with this, saying that right now the agreement in principle between Game Workshop and Amazon is that a team at Amazon, a team of writers, is supposedly trying to write out a story that is going to be turned into Warhammer 40K television. They have a few more months. At the time of this, it said December. I don't know why I thought it was September, but December of 2024 is what it appears is the actual deadline. And there are three possible outcomes if they don't reach a conclusion. And that is that they'll have a project to go ahead with. They'll shelve the whole thing, or they will extend the deadline to try and get a decent product going. In other words, nothing is finalized yet. Nothing yet. There isn't any money allocated for the project, and no actual writing staff has been hired. So it was the preliminary, and no word yet of this is because Henry has said he's had a story done since he was like 8 years old. So we don't know exactly who is doing the story. Only that supposedly, if you believe it, Amazon wanted females in power armor. Games Workshop said, no, we can't do that. There's already, battle nuns, the Sisters of Silence. And so if you want females in power armor, we can't really do it. But then they switched and they did the female custodies, and that lore changed so they can point and say, hey, look, it's in the lore, even if they didn't make miniatures. So right now, of the three opportunities, we were waiting to see. It's coming up fast. And based on this, where they're saying that Games Workshop and Amazon are working together for a period of 12 months. So they had a year going up to December of 2024, which is rapidly approaching. The agreement will only proceed if the creative guidelines are mutually agreed between Games Workshop and Amazon, and that we would be updated accordingly. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth between Amazon and Games Workshop, of course, based on the guidelines that Amazon has to agree upon when they're making these modern projects, i.e. ESG, which is not exactly compatible with the grimdark world of Warhammer. And so here's the update now. That it has been complete radio silence. And yeah, we've heard nothing. It's been complete radio silence on the matter of the TV show ever since we had the last update. It appears as if both Amazon and Games Workshop are entirely content to just let the project die. Honestly, he said, even with a 1-month extension into January, nothing seems to have been produced. Still no money is allocated. Still no accounts have been created. Still no contracts have been signed, etc., etc. And of course, the only time we've heard Henry talk about Warhammer recently has been the video game Space Marine 2 that he's playing. Provided a bit more details on his project back when it was announced in 2023 that supposedly Cavill was going to be championing the group of screenwriters, which we've heard nothing about. And again, he was supposed to be the lead, but all we hear about him, if he's not playing that video game, is the upcoming Highlander project with Stad Stileski. So press X to doubt. Games Workshop stated in a blog post, as the last we heard from them, all we can tell you right now is that an elite band of screenwriters, each with their own particular passion for Warhammer, is being assembled to help bring the setting and characters you love to the screen. This illustrious group will be championed by Henry Cavill, who stands ready to take his place as executive producer, bringing his pen, sword, and or spear to the projects. But we've seen none of that. All evidence to the contrary. Henry's playing video games and working on other movies, not Warhammer. It's not looking good. And again, when they basically said it would take time, but the time is rapidly approaching. And as we've pointed out, no deals have been signed, no contracts, no social media accounts have been made. In the most recent update, of course, Henry Cavill's influence is likely extraordinarily limited, if he has any influence in the matter at all. Even though we saw that he possibly signed a deal that gave him executive producer credits, even that seems like he might be outed or overruled rather by Games Workshop and Amazon working in conjunction. Those are just, it could be a name only. Claiming that while there has been radio silence since the last update, he did provide some information on the negotiations up to that point. Both sides have concessions, and this is what we've heard, that the whole female custodies thing was a concession by Games Workshop for Amazon to placate them and to demonstrate them what would happen if they were to push for female Space Marines. In other words, they were able to point to the massive outcry for the custodies and say, you see this? It would times a billion if we were to do it to the Space Marines. As he points out, that Amazon has their diversity quotas. We've seen those leaked by Elon Musk and Film Threat and others. And so it's going to be very hard for them to accurately translate a grim, dark future where DEI is not thought about, only the war and, fighting for the Emperor. So, yeah, if I had to bet money on this, I would bet that we are not getting this. Unfortunately, it just seems to track with Henry Cavill's record of, I don't know what he did. First of all, he's got to fire that agent of his. He's got the same agent that is the wife of The Rock. And who do you think is getting all the good films? Yeah, it's not Henry. So that's first and foremost. But yeah, I think the only Space Marine product or Warhammer product that you're going to see Henry in will be if he's added as a skin for the PvP of Space Marine 2. But other than that, I don't think so. I don't think he is going to allow what they want to have done, and he certainly isn't going to put his name on it. But either way, you let me know what you think. Are we getting this, or is this just going to wither on the vine and die a quiet death, mourned only by fans and maybe even cherished by fans because it's like, oh, thank God they didn't have him ruin his own dream. It's better did not happen at all than to come out and be super compromised like
yes.
or Halo or any of the other ones. So yeah, let me know what you think of this. Make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you. And
well, bye.